lot of people don't realize the symptoms that they're living with on a daily basis until they're actually removed and you don't have those symptoms anymore. Anxiety, headaches, low energy, poor sleep, all of these things. And these microplastics and nanoplastics and glyphosate and all these other synthetic chemicals that have found our way into our food and personal care products, they're having a big impact on our body, whether we know it or not. Welcome back, everybody, to episode 47 of the Clean Kitchen podcast. Today, we are going to answer a very important question. Does any of this actually matter? We talk about these food swaps. We talk about these cleaning swaps. We talk about all these healthy, non-toxic swaps, but does any of it actually matter? Kevin, let's get into it.
Yeah, it's a great question. It's important to remind ourselves why we're doing all of these different things that we talk about, why we're changing our foods, why we're changing out the laundry detergent that we use. But before we get into the answer to that very important question, let's remind ourselves about some of the reasons why it's so important to look at all of the different harmful chemicals that are surrounding us and how we might be exposed to them. So we're going to start with a recent study that came out. It is published in the New England Journal of Medicine, and it's about microplastics and nanoplastics and how it relates to heart disease or other cardiovascular events. So basically, high level, what this study did, researchers looked at 304 patients who had surgery to remove plaque from their neck arteries. So basically, these were patients that were already having a piece of their neck, specifically plaque, removed, and they looked at the plaque that they had removed. And what they were looking for is if there was microplastics or nanoplastics in that plaque that was removed. And what they found was that 58% of the patients had tiny plastic particles in their artery plaque. So this isn't like they're looking at people that they think are exposed to plastic. This is just a random group of people that already had a piece of their neck removed, and more than half had plastic in their neck, which is really scary to think about. Another 12% of the patients had a different type of plastic called polyvinyl chloride. And all these different plastics are found inside of the cells that they remove the skin from, and they cause inflammation and can even further cause plaque buildup.
So 70% of these people had some sort of plastic, microplastic, or nanoplastic. And nanoplastic is probably a newer term. Maybe you've heard it before, maybe you haven't. They basically just discovered this nanoplastic because they just built the technology to be able to basically find these nanoplastic particles in people's necks, but also things like water bottles, like the water in from plastic water bottles and other materials. So.
Yeah. Kyle and I were just talking about this before. Like what is mainstream media talking about within the health and wellness space? And organic foods and eating well have been talked about for years and years. It's not something that's new, but microplastics and nanoplastics seem to be something that mainstream is kind of latching onto. And it's because of studies like this that show how prevalent it is in our bodies without really even thinking about it. It's in our bodies. We're surrounded by it.
Yeah, these plastics are everywhere too. I remember, at least growing up, the talk about plastic was always around the environmental concerns, and it was never around our actual health. And I think now that we've been using these plastics in packaging and so many different things for so many years now, we're just catching up to, oh, wait, what are these plastics doing inside our body?
Yeah.
Because now we can actually see what it's doing inside our body, and we can detect these super, super micro and nanoplastic particles in our body. And by the way, we're towards the end of this podcast episode, we're going to talk about a study that Branch Basics did, and we're going to give you specific takeaways, things that you can do today, basically to improve your overall health. That's not just food related.
Yeah. I just saw another Instagram reel from our friend, Dr. Vivian Chen, who we had on a couple episodes ago. And she was on another podcast talking about microplastics, specifically people that use plastic cutting boards, which we've talked about. And there was a recent study that she referenced that came out that on average, people that use plastic cutting boards over the course of a year are consuming a certain amount of grams of plastic that translated to 12 credit cards worth of plastic over the course of a year.
So one credit card per month.
A credit card per month worth of plastic is what's in your body. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's scary.
It's scary. That
Like,
is. That was one of
whoa.
the first swaps that we had made. Is just plastic cutting boards. Just throw
Yeah.
them away. Find
Yeah.
yourself some wood ones.
It's not worth it.
No,
Throw it away.
throw it away.
So wait, was she saying that's primarily from plastic cutting boards? Like
Yeah, it
that
was
that's
specific to plastic
just
cutting
from the
boards.
plastic cutting board. So that's not even taking into account plastic water bottles or food packaging that may have these
Right.
microplastics as well. Wow.
Yeah. So be careful of those. Okay, getting back to the study here. So basically, what does this mean? What is the impact on people's
Mhm.
health? So the patients that had these tiny microplastics in their plaque were more likely to have serious heart problems like heart attack or stroke, or even die compared to those without these plastics. So this is no joke. Heart issues can come as a result of these microplastics. Death, even as scary as that sounds, can come as a result of these microplastics. I think we've talked a lot about the impact that microplastics have on our hormone. A lot of
Mhm.
these microplastics are endocrine disruptors, but this study takes it one step further that these can have an impact on your life effectively and your heart health as well.
Another recent study that came out from Consumer Reports, they looked at 100 common foods. This included things like fast food products, grocery store items like beans, dairy products, and other packaged fruits and vegetables. And they wanted to test to see if these contained harmful chemicals from plastics. And a lot of the food tested were found to contain things like phthalates, which we've talked about before, bisphenols like BPA, which are used to make the plastic very flexible and durable. And unfortunately, these chemicals were also found in organic foods as well. So if you think you're safe from these plastics when you just go for organic, that's not necessarily the case. Organic just means it's not being sprayed with any synthetic pesticides or herbicides. But unfortunately, that doesn't mean that there's no plastics or microplastics in it. And high levels of these chemicals, specifically for this study, were found in foods like sliced peaches, salmon, chocolate milkshakes. I don't know what kind of chocolate milkshake they were testing, but yogurt, and then several fast food products as well, like chicken nuggets and burritos, because all of the packaging that those foods come in, they're wrapped in or lined in some sort of plastic.
Yeah, this is a really important point too. The types of foods that they're looking at, a lot of these too are healthy. Like we've talked about before, the grass-fed ground beef that a lot of people eat, specifically that we eat, it's wrapped in plastic.
Yeah.
And no matter how healthy that beef is, it's going to be exposed in some way to the plastic that it's wrapped in, and there's not really a way around that. So as it's so tough, I don't know what the answer is to this one. Do you know?
You mean for beef specifically?
Yeah, or even just like other healthy foods that are wrapped in plastic. It's just so common.
It is common. It's unfortunate, but I don't know what a workaround is. I don't know if there's testing that can be done to ensure that, hey, there's no microplastics getting into this grass-fed beef, even though it's wrapped in plastic. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can, even if you get beef directly from, and I used to do this as well, get my beef from a local farmer, it was still wrapped in plastic. Like I've never seen it not being wrapped in plastic. And you got to think there's something that's leaching into that beef, unfortunately.
Yeah. What would a better alternative be to wrapping it in plastic? What's something better?
I'd say like parchment paper, but again, it won't last nearly as long if it's wrapped in something like parchment paper as opposed to plastic. So.
Yeah. It's almost like the best solution is you're actually out on the farm and it's effectively farm to table and there's no intermediary, but that's just 99.9% of people. That'll never happen.
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder if like butcher shops, because I don't know if they do anything different, if they wrap it in a different material as opposed to just plastic containers.
Yeah, I wonder, because when you go, even if you go to like Whole Foods or something and they have the butcher counter there, I wonder, because that's out, that's just out, that's not in plastic or anything. So I wonder like what's happening from the farm to there. Like, I assume it's wrapped in plastic for that transportation process and then they take it out and put it in front of you. Maybe I'll have to ask them that next time I'm there.
Yeah. This one is just, I think it's only going to become more and more common.
Yeah.
But you talked about what they found in a lot of these foods. remind us again why some of these things like phthalates are bad for us.
The main thing is that these are really, really, really bad for hormones. They're going to basically mimic different hormones in our body and disrupt things. So, elevate levels where they shouldn't be elevated, or decrease levels where they shouldn't be decreased. So it can mess with our hormones, but also it can cause things like diabetes, obesity, heart disease, and even certain types of cancer. So it's best to avoid these plastics when you can. And again, like we're talking about now, it's so difficult to be perfect. No one's going to be perfect about this, but I think reducing your exposure in areas that you can, which we're going to get into some specific ways in a second here. I think that's really what you want to focus on instead of obsessing over, oh, my beef is wrapped in plastic. Don't worry about that. Instead, make these other swaps where you can, to know I'm doing the best that I possibly can to reduce my exposure to these plastics.
Yeah, that's a great point. You have to focus on what you can control. You cannot control what beef manufacturers are wrapping the beef in. What you can control is not using a plastic cutting board, replacing that for a wood one. Not using plastic storage containers, replacing those for glass. Not using one-time use plastic water bottles. Those are another big culprit here. Trying to use glass water bottles to the extent you can. Those are the things that you can get a lot out of that you can actually control. All right, so those are some tips that you can implement right away. But one of the coolest things recently that I've seen on the internet is this Branch Basics 10-day study. If you haven't heard about it, we're going to break it down here shortly. But the purpose of this, they took 4 people, random people that either have been struggling with health or just wanted to live a better life. They took these 4 people and put them in an environment where there were 0 chemicals, 0 toxins, ate whole, organic, real food. And then just after 10 days, they saw some amazing changes. So what they did is before they got there, they did a pee test and measured a bunch of different toxins. They looked at specific levels of glyphosate, BPA, phthalates, methylparaben, propylparaben, and then VOCs. They looked at those 6 different items before they went in. And then they went into this hotel in Austin, Texas, and they effectively just swapped out everything in the hotel room for all clean, natural ingredients and products, and used Branch Basics, of course, to clean everything. And then throughout these 10 days, they had the 4 individuals do a bunch of healthy activities that we'll describe shortly. But before we talk specifically about the results, Kyle, what was it that they were doing while they were there?
They actually had them do a lot of the things that I do on a daily basis. So I'm very happy. I was very happy when I first read this list of things that they did. So the first thing, they swapped out all of the sheets, the bed sheets, the towels, and their clothing for organic cotton products. Specifically, they used Pact, which is a great brand. I have some of their organic cotton shorts and bed sheets. Highly recommend. And then they also swapped out shampoo and conditioner for non-toxic options. They swapped out the deodorant for Primally Pure, which again is the deodorant I use. So I'm super happy to see that. Bar soap, body soap, they swapped that out. Toothpaste, they use Risewell. Shout out Risewell. I use them as well. They're awesome. You use Risewell too, right, Kevin?
I do, yeah. Just started using Risewell.
Yeah, Risewell's great. They swapped out the toilet paper. This is something that I've been looking into more recently, toilet paper and paper towel, because a lot of most of it is bleached white, which we don't want to be touching on a daily basis. So they used Kabu Products toilet paper, and I believe this is bamboo.
Let's see.
Maybe not. Can't tell what this is. It just says sustainable.
Yeah.
I'll just say non-toxic.
Yeah.
All right, Jake, you're going to be doing a lot of editing this episode. They swapped out, so I said toilet paper, doing a lot of research on this recently. And they swapped out the toilet paper for Kabu Products, which I have not looked into yet, but maybe I should. They used blue light blockers at night from Bond Charge, which again, I use. Kevin, we need to get you some blue light blocking glasses.
I need those.
and just quick recap of why I use blue light blocking glasses at night. When we expose our eyes to our screens, our TVs, it emits blue light into our eyes, and it basically tells our body that it's the daytime. So we don't produce melatonin. We don't get tired. We don't stay asleep throughout the night. So these blue light blockers are going to help you fall asleep and stay asleep. I highly recommend them. Headphones. Oh, wired headphones. Yeah, this is another thing that I actually just switched. I switched back to wired headphones. I stopped using my AirPods and over-the-ear wireless headphones.
Why is that? Why did you switch?
The EMFs.
What is that for someone that doesn't know? Like
me. I don't know a lot about this, which is why I haven't talked about it, but EMFs is basically what's emitted from our wireless products, whether it be Bluetooth or like Wi-Fi. Our Wi-Fi router emits EMFs, and this can cause potential damage to our body. But specifically when we're wearing these headphones, they're right next to our head. They're right next to our brain. So I haven't dove deep into the research. So I don't want to say that is absolutely messing up your brain, but I can't imagine it's doing anything good to your brain when you're wearing wireless headphones and those EMFs are basically like in your head. Mm-hmm. So I think I just saw a social media post about it a month or two ago. I already had this in the back of my head that it was a swap that I wanted to make. And then when I saw this, it was just like a quick reel or something. I don't remember who it was. But when I saw it, I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'd just make the swap. So
go back to wired.
Got my wired headphones now.
Yeah. What about the Wi-Fi specifically? I've heard you talk about it. I think Dr. Andrew Huberman has talked about it. Paul Saladino, turning off your Wi-Fi at night when you sleep is something that a lot of people do.
Yep. I unplug my Wi-Fi every night before I go to sleep. Honestly, for me, the reason I started doing it was because there's a light on my router and the router is in my closet. So that light was like shining through and it was bright. And obviously you want a very dark room when you're going to sleep. So that was actually why I started unplugging it. And then I learned about the EMFs and all of that and how that can impact your sleep in a negative way. So definitely, especially if you're close to your router, definitely unplug it. Another thing, phone. It is not good. And I just heard Andrew Huberman talk about this as well. It is not good to have your phone in your pocket unless it's on airplane mode because it can mess with your hormones.
Yeah.
So now whenever I'm going on long walks, I'll either turn my phone on airplane mode if it's in my pocket, or sometimes I'll just like hold it and just walk with it, holding it so it's not like against my body.
Yeah. Yeah, this one I've heard a lot about. I've started putting it in my back pocket, which isn't perfect, but I view it as at least slightly better.
Yeah.
Because in your front, it's way more, it's near your reproductive organs, both male and female.
Yeah.
And putting it on the backside, you get a little bit of protection from that.
Yeah. And that directly messes with your, testosterone levels and your other hormones. So
yeah, exactly.
What else did they do? So they got the headphones, they got a high quality water filter, they got an air purifier, again, non-toxic pillows made with organic cotton. And they also used a rebounder, which is just a mini trampoline, basically. I actually have one out here on my porch. I haven't used it in a little while, but basically you just jump up and down and it creates an almost kind of like a cleaning effect, I guess, throughout your body, like creates some autophagy. And it's really, really good for your body. So fun way to move, burn calories, jump up and down, good for your digestion. Yeah, all sorts of benefits.
Yeah. Okay. So they took these 4 people and they put together as close to a perfect environment as they could. And again, remember, this is only 10 days that they're doing this for. So we've got all these clean, non-toxic products that they're surrounded with, got rid of all the junk that they had previously. And then what did they do during these 10 days, Kyle? What was it that they were doing as they were awake?
They were really focusing on 12 different things. And a lot of these we've talked about, but some of them we haven't. So first, dry brushing. This is basically taking a small brush. It's a very specific type of brush though. And you can just use it on your body to remove dead skin cells. And it can also boost your skin health and appearance. And it also removes any toxins that are kind of sitting on top of your skin. and it stimulates the lymphatic system. I feel like I bought one of these brushes years ago and did it for like maybe a week or two, but then I stopped. So I don't have a lot of experience with this. Have you ever tried this? No.
No, but I was watching the videos of them doing it, and it seemed interesting. It looked like they were like brushing their arms,
Yeah.
like someone would brush their hair, just brushing their arms.
Yeah, exactly. I've heard really great things about it, especially if you have any like eczema or anything on your arms. It's good to just, help kind of detox that and remove dead skin cells. So sounds like that was one of the things that they were doing on a daily basis. Another thing, which again, I have not done this, but maybe this is a sign that I should do it, is oil pulling. And this is a practice where you swish around oil in your mouth and it pulls out any toxins and basically just improves your overall oral hygiene. A lot of people do this with coconut oil. That's like the main thing people use. But again, I have not tried this. Have you, Kevin?
I've not, no, but coconut oil, that's what they were using. I
Yeah.
did see that in the video.
Okay,
They were using that. So you just swish coconut oil around in your mouth.
You just swish it around, yeah. And again, I've heard a lot of good things about this as well.
Yeah. I feel like we're learning just as much from this study.
Yeah.
Hopefully as other people are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Another thing, apple cider vinegar with water. So they were doing this first thing in the morning on an empty stomach to help balance out the body's pH. And it can also improve digestion and support detoxification. This I have tried before when I was having a ton of digestive problems. I would do apple cider vinegar with water before meals to help my stomach acid. So whatever food I was eating, it could easily be broken down and help digestion.
Yeah.
I don't know if I saw an immediate improvement from that when I was doing it. But again, I've heard it work for some people.
Yeah, this is one I've seen, it went viral years ago.
Yeah.
That you can have apple cider vinegar. It was like help you lose weight. Not sure if any of that is true, but it does seem to have some benefit.
Yeah. And the other aspect to it as well is that it can help prevent a drastic rise in glucose or in your blood sugar levels. So if you are someone that's diabetic or you don't want to have, these glucose spikes consistently throughout the day, apple cider vinegar can be good. They also make apple cider vinegar tablets that you can also just take before a meal, and it has a similar effect.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Blue light blocking glasses. Again, we kind of already went into that, but that they were wearing these every single night after the sun goes down. Same thing for me. As soon as it gets dark outside, I put my blue light blocking glasses on. And not only can this reduce any like digital eye strain from watching TV or doing work on your computer, but it also helps support healthier sleep patterns, and it helps improve your sleep. So,
yeah, that's a great one.
Yep. Grounding. So this is basically just putting your feet on the earth. It's also, some people call it earthing as well, grounding, earthing. But it's direct contact to the earth. And this has been shown to reduce inflammation in your body and neutralize any free radicals in your body as well. Because without going into detail, it's basically the earth is negatively charged. So when we put our feet on the earth, it's putting those negative ions in our body and reducing inflammation.
Wow. There you go. Some science for you there.
Yeah, well, a little bit.
You also have grounding mats.
Yes.
Those are like the ones you have inside. Do those do the same thing?
So recently I've read mixed results now on the grounding mats. They absolutely do, because you can measure this. You can, when you put your feet on them, you can measure that you're getting these negative ions from the earth that's going through the outlet and then into the mat and then into your body. But I've heard a counterpoint to this is that you're also getting like what they call like the dirty the static from the outlet as well. That's being carried through the outlet into the mat. And then also you're getting that as well. So it's like dirty is what they call it, dirty something.
Yeah.
So now I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about the grounding mats. I'd say, if you really want to get the best experience possible, go outside and put your feet in the grass or on the sidewalk. Sidewalks are also grounded technically.
Oh, didn't realize that.
But yeah, that's it for grounding. So it sounds like they were doing that on a daily basis, which is fantastic. Highly recommend anyone doing that. Infrared sauna. This is great to help sweet and aid in detoxification and eliminating any heavy metals or other toxins. I have my sauna blanket that I use, and I also have a regular size sauna that's at our parents' house right now. I don't have the room for it. I wish I did. You do any sauna practice?
No, I don't. I would like to. This is one that I like to do more of. The sauna blanket feels like a great option for most people because you roll it up when you're done with it and you put it away. So you don't need the space for a full sauna. Or a lot of people have access to a gym that has a sauna and then they'll go in there afterwards. So you don't need to go buy a full sauna. There are other options out there.
Yeah, much cheaper and take up less space. And we'll leave a link to that down below as well. The Bond Charge sauna blanket.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's what they were using, honestly. Maybe.
Probably. They were using Bond Charge blue light blocking glasses. They might be doing the same.
Yeah. A few more things here. Coffee enemas. If you don't know what this is, it's basically putting coffee up your butt and it helps you eliminate toxins from your body.
Huh. That's you just poop them out.
Yeah. Basically. And you can watch videos and different things, of how to do this exactly on YouTube. But I've heard great things about that as well.
Huh. That I am not familiar with.
Oh, coffee enema?
No, coffee. I never heard of it.
Yeah. And I know they do there's water enemas as well. You can just do it with water.
Yeah.
But I've heard good things for detoxification and improving skin health, improving digestion, things like that. Cause it rids your body of a lot of the toxins that can be stuck in your digestive tract. And that's just the most efficient way to eliminate those things. I wouldn't say it's the first thing people should be trying, but it's definitely a tool in the toolbox.
Yeah. Put it towards the bottom of the list, but still on the list.
Yeah.
Okay.
A few other things here. Expressive writing. So it sounded like they did a writing exercise every day designed to release emotional trauma. And it's been shown to have many physical, emotional, and mental benefits. So that's super powerful. And then relaxation techniques, different deep breathing exercises, tongue scraping, which actually I've gotten into recently. The company Organic Jaguar sent me a tongue scraper. Are you familiar with what it is?
Yeah.
So I started using that in the mornings before I brush my teeth. And it definitely makes your mouth feel cleaner.
Yes.
Better breath and cleaner. Have you used one?
I've used one. Years ago, I had one that I used. But now that I think about it, the one that I had was plastic. So probably not all that great.
Oh, yeah, no. Stainless steel.
I got to get stainless steel. It is. It's amazing. Sometimes brush my teeth or brush my tongue every once in a while, which I remember doing as a kid. But scraping it is the next level. And you just feel super clean afterwards.
Yeah, and you can see that layer of film come off your tongue, which there's a lot of germs and bad bacteria there. So I think it's a good habit that I started a few months ago, and it's something so easy to do. I love little easy things to do to implement into your daily routine, and that's one of them. The Big Six. So we weren't familiar with this. Apparently, this was developed by Dr. Nicholson. And this is an easy way to jumpstart your lymphatic system by stimulating 6 different points within the body.
Yeah.
Do you know anything else about this, Kevin?
I saw a little bit of video on this one, what they were doing. It looked like they were just touching certain points of their body. That would help. Specifically, I saw them, if you're not watching on YouTube, their hand on their chest. They were pushing down like this, going back and forth. So I guess there are 6 spots that you kind of just apply pressure to your body, and that helps with the lymphatic system.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Kind of sounds a little similar to acupuncture, you're using certain points throughout the body to release certain things or help eliminate certain things, I guess. So it's interesting. I have to look more into that.
Yeah.
And then the last one was movement. So they were doing regular physical activity to increase circulation and lymph flow, and basically just enhancing the body's natural detoxification process as well. So, when I hear movement, I always try to go on daily walks every single day. That's one of my forms of movement besides going to the gym and doing push-ups or pull-ups or whatever exercises. I'm a huge fan of daily walks.
Yeah.
And you can also do some grounding while you're out there as well.
There you go. It's 2 for 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. The daily walk, specifically one that we try to do is right after a meal. Go for a 10-minute walk. That is one of the best things you can do post-meal. Lowers blood sugar levels, I think, after you eat. And just honestly, it helps with digestion, I've found.
So good. Yeah. So good for digestion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so they did all of these things. They did these 12 things. They took their biomarkers before, or they took these measurements of glyphosate and all these other chemicals in their body beforehand, and then they measured it again at the end. Kevin, what were the results?
Yes. So 10 days later, this is what they saw. Glyphosate, they measured the level of glyphosate in these 4 individuals, down 70%.
70.
Crazy. BPA, so the plastics that we talked about, down 72%. Amazing.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. This is 10 days.
10 days?
Yeah. Phthalates. This one, Kyle's going to blow your mind.
Oh, yeah.
99% it decreased in 10 days. They basically eliminated it from people's bodies in 10 days.
That's great. That gives me hope that these harmful compounds that are getting into our food or getting into our cookware, our kitchenware, wherever, all these different places, that we are able to detoxify it. That makes me really happy.
Yes. Methylparaben. So this is commonly found in cosmetic products and personal care products, down 98%. Amazing. I will say too, for the women, a lot of women wear makeup. The 10 days that they were there, the women that were in the study didn't wear any makeup. So it wasn't like they were using a non-toxic one. They just had no makeup on for those 10 days.
Good point.
Yep. Propylparaben. So this is commonly found in food and drugs. Another paraben. And parabens are just synthetic chemicals. This was down 82%. Wow. So of course, during these 10 days, they weren't taking any drugs. Nothing like Tylenol or Advil as well during this time. And then VOCs, which are found in the air, was down 91%. So that air purifier was working.
Yeah.
Working overtime.
Yeah, VOCs, volatile organic compounds, I believe that's what that stands for.
There you go.
And yeah, definitely an air purifier, and just allowing fresh air to come through your home, whether it's leaving a window open or leaving a door open or something like that. That'll also help clean your air, and you can also get like plants and things like that as well.
Yeah, that's a great point. They did say they had the hotel door open basically all the time.
There you go.
To go outside.
That's awesome.
Yes. So honestly, this to me is mind blowing. That one, they saw this dramatic of results in 10 days. I could not believe some of these numbers. They actually had a kind of a functional doctor review the results, and she was mind blown from these results. They also talked to each of the individuals, had them interviewed, and they were all shocked at how much better they felt.
Wow.
I think one of the main takeaways I had from watching their interviews was that they didn't know how common it was for them to have a headache or to not feel well. Or one woman talked about how she didn't even realize she had anxiety until after she went to this, and she felt so much more relaxed. So really amazing what Branch Basics was able to do in these 10 days with these 4 individuals. Yeah, shout out Branch Basics.
Well done, Branch Basics. This is so powerful. And I think what you just said too, a lot of people don't realize the symptoms that they're living with on a daily basis until they're actually removed and you don't have those symptoms anymore. Anxiety, headaches, low energy, poor sleep, all of these things. And these plastics, these microplastics and nanoplastics and glyphosate and all these other synthetic chemicals that have found our way into our food and personal care products, they're having a big impact on our body, whether we know it or not. And I think a lot of these tools are super, super beneficial. A lot of these things people can just start doing today for free. Yes, a lot of these, you got to go out and buy these things. But in my opinion, like this is where you should be spending your money. These are really, really good investments you're making into your health to improve your life and to reduce your symptoms.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. This is so cool to see. Shout out these 4 people. It's a year since one of them did this. And she said she's still going strong with all of these.
That's amazing.
And still living her healthiest life.
That's amazing.
The most commonly asked question in the comments, this was all on Instagram, was how do I sign up for this? Everyone wants access to this now. And Branch Basics said that they're looking to do some sort of longer term retreat type thing for a lot of people that are interested in. So stay tuned with Branch Basics. Obviously, this was a hit.
Yeah, I would do this.
Yeah.
I'm like, where do I sign up for this?
Yes. Yes. It'd be great if everyone could have access to this. But like we said, a lot of these things you can do on your own. You can make these same types of changes that they made there.
Yeah. Well, if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and leave a comment. Let us know what you think of this study. Have you tried any of these before? Have you seen some serious improvement using any of these detoxification methods or just, healthy lifestyle habits in general? As always, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, leave a rating and review. That helps us reach more people, and share this with someone if you found it helpful, or if you just found it interesting. Share this with, a family member or a friend that you think could benefit from this information. We appreciate you so much. Thank you for listening to this episode, and we'll see you next week.